Hey friends, it's Laura. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, or if you are new here, thank you for finding me on YouTube. I am so happy to be doing another plant video. Today, I'm actually really excited for this topic. Today, I'm going to be showing you the plants that I am most proud of because they have made progress when I may have almost given up on them, but they are doing well now, almost thriving. So, well, yeah, they're all thriving. And I just want to show you how they're doing because my doggies are wandering around. That's what that sound is. Because sometimes plants are really frustrating, but you just want them to thrive. If you have a plant that is like dying and you never really loved it anyway, I think let it die. Like that's fine. But these are all plants that I really loved. I saw photos of them, or they used to be really beautiful and I just wanted them to be that beautiful again. But they, for whatever reason, were not thriving, and now they are doing well. So I'm proud of their progress. I'm also honestly proud of my work in getting them to thrive, if that makes sense. The plant did a lot of work, but I did a lot of work too. So I'm excited to show them off and just talk about that. Anyway, that's a really long intro, long-winded, but if you are interested, let's get started. So the first one is actually right beside me. I was kind of like looking at it as I was talking. This is, first of all, this vessel is incredible. I know, it's amazing, it's beautiful. So in here, I better come a bit closer. So in here is my Begonia maculata. It is such a beautiful plant, and I know lots of people just grow these no problem in their house. I cannot do that. The leaves either stay super tiny or they crisp up and get hideous, but I love this plant. And I have learned that for me, most begonias need to be in a terrarium type situation. So I rooted a cutting of my failing Begonia maculata and I put it in here. I also put a leaf at the bottom and that has rooted up. It hasn't shown any growth yet, but it has rooted. I know it's a little, there's quite a bit of condensation in there, but they are pristine. They are huge. You can see the back of that leaf. They are huge. And for me, this is just so much progress. If you're able to grow this in your house, you're a very lucky person. And obviously this vessel is, I mean, it's everything. I'm hoping that the plant will just grow all the way up and this whole vessel will be full of Begonia maculata. That is my goal, that is my dream. I bought this from the thrift store. I don't know what it was for before, but obviously it was made for my Begonia. All right, next up is this little baby Philodendron Brandy. I have talked about this plant a few times on this channel. I think it was even in my like plants that I struggle with, plants that are not doing great. But it is now doing really well. It's got a couple new leaves opening up there, lots of new leaves on the way. The leaves still aren't as big as apparently they can get to, but it is doing so much better than it was. It used to put out a leaf and then that leaf would shrivel up and fall off, or it just like wouldn't grow for the longest time. So what has made the difference is my cabinet, which is, you can kind of see the edge of it there. That cabinet has about 85% humidity at the moment, and it has a grow light, and I guess that is what my Brandy needed. It just needed a ton of humidity. So if you are struggling with this plant, and I know there's lots of people that struggle with this plant, because whenever I would share about it, so many other people would be like, yeah, that plant does not do well for me. It might be humidity for you as well. If you are having that problem, that solved the issue for me. And now this plant is really cute. It is no longer a plant that I'm like, oh, should I just give up on that? Should I give it away? I'm now like, yes, it's growing. I was thinking of making like a little trellis or hoop or something to help it grow up. Never did I think I needed a support for this plant because it was always so tiny, and now I'm planning on a support that I'm gonna make. So this plant I'm just so proud of. It's so teeny tiny, but it brings me a lot of joy now that it's doing well. I honestly was very confused as to why I couldn't make this grow. Like, it's a philodendron, shouldn't be that complicated, but it was really hard. And now we just have all these perfect little silver leaves, and she's so cute, and I'm just really enjoying her. She's in the cabinet living her best life, and I'm just so happy for her. All right, next up is my Philodendron micans. I know this isn't like a super exciting specimen of Philodendron micans, but I have had quite a bit of trouble with this plant. Thought I saw a thrip, but it is not a thrip. I had it, it was growing really fast for a while, and then all of a sudden just really declined, and I still don't really know what went wrong. It might have been pest, honestly, I don't know. So I chopped it up and I was just gonna propagate all of the little cuttings, but then they took forever to root. And then I eventually switched them into like a Starbucks cup situation. If you don't know about that type of propagation, you should definitely try it out because they rooted up pretty quickly. And so now I have all of these little teeny tiny cuttings that are rooted. They just have like one leaf for most of them, but they are going to grow in, and that makes me really happy. Like, this plant was declining so much that I thought I might have lost it. And again, micans aren't that hard to come by anymore, but this is such a beautiful plant, and so many people have these long trailing plants and they like, oh, they're so easy to grow. And so it was kind of frustrating that I was having so many issues just growing this apparently really easy grower. But I'm happy now that we are making progress. She is just looking happy and healthy, small, but happy and healthy. And I'm just so excited. Every time there's a new leaf, I'm like, yes, she's not declining, she's not rotting. And yeah, I'm really, really proud of this plant. All right, so this plant, this is a Monstera Peru. This is a different situation than the other plants that I've shown. This specific specimen is new to me. I've only had it for about maybe a month. And I got it at a local nursery. It was an amazing find. I was like walking by it and looked in the window and couldn't believe that they had it. I love Monstera Peru. And I would say about a year ago, I finally got my hands on a cutting. And I know these are not like that hard to find anymore, but for a long time, at least where I live, they were very expensive or just really hard to come by. So anyway, I had a cutting and it was doing great, I thought, but it just never rooted. And I let it sit in water for maybe like 3 months and it didn't root and eventually rotted. And I was really sad because it took me so long to get that cutting, and it wasn't super expensive, but it was like, you know, more expensive than you would pay generally for a plant cutting. And I was just so frustrated. When I got it, I felt like I was really confident in my plant skills and that it would be no problem to propagate it, and then it rotted and I was just so disappointed because this plant, I mean, it almost like looks more beautiful in person, but on film it is like really, really beautiful. And I don't know, I was just in love with this plant. I don't know, like I guess it's just the texture and the size of the leaves. I love this plant. And so I was really, really sad that that cutting died. I didn't want to go out and spend a ton of money on another cutting because I mean, that one could die too. So I was just really happy to find this plant in the local nursery. It wasn't very expensive. And since having it, it has put out 2 new leaves. So it's already doing better. I don't know, this is an emotional topic. For this particular plant, I'm just really excited that it is so far thriving in my care and that I haven't killed it, it's not rotting. Obviously, this is a more established plant than that little plant cutting, so, you know, it's not really a fair comparison. But I'm just proud of this plant and I'm proud of my plant parenting skills because I've come a long way since having that little cutting, and I think I'm gonna be able to make this plant really thrive. Maybe I shouldn't have included this in like the plants I'm proud of, but I did. So it's here, I'm proud of it. Last plant is this Begonia silver dollar, and I post about this like a lot on my Instagram. This plant also, it's kind of like the Begonia maculata. I love this plant, but it was not thriving in my care. It was always browning, and so I discovered that I can grow these really, really easily in jars. This one, I literally just put 3 leaves in the jar, and this is what I have now. I have thoroughly enjoyed watching this grow, watching it morph into this huge plant. It is now, you know, reaching the top, so I guess I'm gonna start trimming those leaves off. You can see they're like pushing to get out the top. I'm gonna start trimming those and I can make like more jars of plants. But this plant, I guess it's basically exactly like the maculata. The story is just, I loved this plant, but took it home and it was not thriving in my home and I just could not accept that. So I started experimenting and now I'm just so happy. I have a few of these sort of jar situations happening and it's basically my favorite way of growing begonias now because they thrive. It's easy. I never have to water because as the plant perspires out its water, it just goes back into the soil. So it's awesome. I do air it out every once in a while, but this has just been so fun to watch. And I mean, what a fun project. So I'm really proud of this sort of terrarium situation. I'm proud of this plant in general. And yeah, I will definitely do it again. All right, so that is all from me for today. Thank you so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed this sort of style of video, just talking about the plants I'm proud of. Maybe I'll do some more. I think plant parenting, honestly, only other plant parents really get like the pride that you may feel when a plant starts doing well. I don't know. Maybe there's other hobbies that it's similar, but because it's a living organism, it's like you're working together with the plant to make progress. I don't know. Anyway, it was really fun to sit here and talk about the plant's progress and like feel proud of myself as well. So hopefully you enjoyed it and I hope you have a wonderful day and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.